Every one of us carries a cage inside. Some look beautiful, polished like gold. Others are old, rusty, barely holding together. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what's inside. Behind those thin metal bars sits the part of you that you fear the most, the part whose strength terrifies you, whose voice you keep silencing, whose light blinds you, or whose darkness unsettles you. You feed this part of yourself from the palm of your hand. You clean the cage. You pretend everything is under control, but you never, and I mean never, dare to open that little door. Because the question that haunts you is this: what will happen if it gets out? Where will it go? What will it become? And what if it's not even a bird at all, but a dragon you've kept chained your entire life? This psychological test, this visual doorway, is your chance to approach that cage, to touch the cold metal, to hold the key, and to wonder, even for just a second, what might happen if you finally turned it. This is not a simple quiz. This is a deep dive into the subconscious, into the version of you that you've avoided for years, a chance to finally meet yourself. Before we step into this journey, before we descend into your inner world, let's take a quick anonymous check-in. Your answer will set the emotional baseline for this experience. In the comments, just write 1. If you feel you already live in harmony with yourself and simply want confirmation. 2. If you feel that something inside you is broken, locked away, and begging to be released. No judgment, no labels, just honesty. Now, look at the image in front of you. 4 identical cages, 4 different birds. Don't overthink it. Your first instinct is the truest voice of your subconscious. Which bird would you release first to discover who you really are? The wise owl, the gentle white dove, the bright parrot, or the powerful eagle? Choose. Take a breath. Your mind has already made the decision. And now, brace yourself, because what comes next might hurt, might challenge you, and might heal you. So, you freed the owl. Your hand moved toward the cage containing the silent night hunter, the symbol of wisdom, hidden knowledge, inner vision. And that choice reveals more about you than you've ever allowed yourself to admit. It means you are someone who sees beneath the surface, someone who doesn't just hear words, you hear intentions. You don't just witness events. You see the invisible chain of cause and effect behind them. Your cage, the one holding this owl, was built from fear. Not fear of the unknown, but fear of your own mind. Fear of the sharpness of your intuition, its accuracy, its unfailing honesty. Inside that cage, you've locked away your inner judge, your analyst, your philosopher. You're not afraid that you don't know enough. You're terrified because you often know too much, far more, than feels comfortable. Let's be honest for a moment. How many times in your life has your intuition whispered, no, screamed, don't do this. Don't trust that person. Something is wrong here. And yet, you brushed it off like an annoying mosquito. You turned on logic. You listened to reasonable advice. You convinced yourself you were overreacting. And where did you end up? Exactly. In that deep, dark, emotional hole you swore you'd never fall into again. Afterward, you sat there thinking, I knew it. I felt it. Why didn't I listen? Because it wasn't just a feeling. It was your owl, beating her wings against the cage, trying to get your attention. Each time you ignore her, the cage bars grow thicker, the lock becomes heavier, and your inner conflict deepens. This is what psychology calls the war between the conscious and the unconscious. Your conscious mind, trained by society, rules, logic, and expectations, fears the raw, irrational, almost supernatural accuracy of your subconscious. It's easier to live in a world of predictable algorithms than to admit you carry something inside you that can read people like open books and see futures no one else notices. By choosing the owl, you didn't just make a random choice. You called for help. A part of you is begging to be heard. Your biggest enemy isn't the world. It's the gift you turned into a curse. Maybe the story began in childhood. You were that strange kid who asked uncomfortable questions, who sensed when adults were lying, who saw through masks like they were made of glass. And what did the world do? It corrected you, punished you, told you you were imagining things, shamed you for seeing too much. Schools, families, systems, all designed to flatten the sharp edges, to make everyone normal and manageable. Your owl, with her piercing night vision, became a threat to order. So you hid her. You silenced her. To be loved, to fit in, to survive. This choice isn't merely about intellect. It's about the synthesis of mind and intuition, true wisdom. But you fear conclusions that go against the crowd. You fear being the outsider, the weird one, the prophet no one wants to listen to. So you pretend you don't see what you see. As Carl Jung said, loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that matter to you. You're not lonely because you're alone. You're lonely because your owl is locked away, and you have no one to share your truth with. How does this show up in your life? 1. Analytical paralysis. You overthink decisions for days, weeks, even months. Not because you don't know what to do, your intuition already chose, but because the answer scares you. 2. Constant anxiety. When your inner guide is locked away, you rely only on external voices, and the world is full of lies and manipulation. You can't trust others, but you don't trust yourself either. This creates unbearable tension. 3. Fear of your own thoughts. Sometimes you get sudden insights about people, about life, about yourself. Insights so sharp that they scare you. You push them away, drown them in noise, distraction, work, scrolling, but they always return, because it's not noise, it's truth, your truth, and ignoring it is self-betrayal. Your path to freedom begins with courage, the courage to say, I have the right to know, I have the right to see, I trust my inner voice more than the chorus outside. Start small. Write down your intuitive flashes, dreams, gut feelings, first impressions, without judging them. 1 or 2 months from now, you'll look back and realize your crazy inner voice was accurate about 80% of the time. That's the first click of the lock. Stop seeking validation from others. Your truth doesn't need applause. Act on your intuition in small decisions. What route to take, what to eat, who to call. Strengthen the intuitive muscle. At first it will feel strange, even scary, like walking after sitting still for years. But step by step, your owl will stretch her wings. As Jung wrote, the most terrifying thing is to accept yourself completely. You're afraid of your own power, your clarity, your inner wisdom. You're afraid that once you know, truly know, you won't be able to pretend anymore. But living with clipped wings is not safety. It's slow spiritual suffocation. Open the cage. Let your owl rise into the night sky. Even if others don't understand. Even if they laugh. A creature born to see in the dark doesn't need approval from those who live in daylight. So, your hand reached for the cage with the white dove, the symbol of peace, tenderness, and unconditional love. And that, my friend, is not just a choice. It's a diagnosis written in feathers. It reveals that the deepest wounds you carry, the deepest fears you've tried to bury, are tied directly to your heart. You didn't just lock away your emotions. You locked away your ability to trust, to be vulnerable, to love without fear, and to accept love without suspicion. Your heart lives inside a fortress, walls made of old grief, dried tears, forgotten apologies, and disappointments you never recovered from. And inside this fortress, you've imprisoned the gentlest, softest part of your soul because once, maybe more than once, someone nearly crushed it. Let's speak plainly. Those who choose the dove are often wounded healers, people with enormous, boundless capacity for love who have survived betrayal, abandonment, or emotional cruelty. The impact was so brutal that the only way to survive was to build walls. Not just walls, barricades, trenches, barbed wire, guards armed to the teeth, and the dove, your ability to feel, was thrown into the deepest tower so no one could ever reach it again. You fear tenderness, both giving and receiving it. When someone shows you sincere affection or warmth, what's the first thing you feel? Suspicion. What do they want? This must be manipulation. No one is this kind for free. This won't end well. Sound familiar? That's the prison guard at the door of the dove's cage. He remembers the pain. His only mission, never let it happen again, even if that means condemning you to emotional starvation. It's a tragic irony. In trying to protect your heart, you've sentenced it to solitary confinement. This choice reveals a profound issue with emotional intelligence. Not because you don't understand emotions, but because you understand them too well. You read people perfectly. You detect the slightest shift in tone, look, gesture. Your emotional radar is flawless. But instead of using this gift to connect, you use it to defend. You see danger everywhere. You close the door before anyone even knocks. What does this look like in your relationships? You either avoid them entirely, convincing yourself you're better off alone, or you enter shallow, safe connections where no one gets too close. The moment you feel yourself starting to care, the moment your dove begins to flutter her wings, you sabotage everything. You start fights. You pull back. You nitpick flaws. You do something, anything, to break the closeness before the closeness can break you. And afterwards, you sigh with relief. See? I knew it. It was never going to work. You create the very outcome you fear, just to confirm the necessity of your emotional fortress. Carl Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." You fear this reaction. You think transformation means destruction. You fear that closeness will cost you your identity, your safety, your stability. So you'd rather be an inert gas, untouched, unchanged, unreactive. But life is reaction. We become through the heat of connection. You keep not only love locked away, but forgiveness, especially forgiveness of yourself. You rerun old betrayals in your mind, blaming yourself for not being smarter, colder, more cautious. You can't release the past, because the past is the foundation of your fortress. If you let go of the pain, the fortress collapses. And that terrifies you. To forgive feels like leaving yourself naked in a battlefield. But forgiveness is not for the one who hurt you. It's for the dove. Each resentment you carry is a stone in a backpack you've been dragging for years. Your spine aches. Your soul is tired, but you keep carrying it. Forgiveness is simply putting the stones down. You also struggle to receive love, compliments, help, gifts. Receiving makes you feel exposed, in debt, vulnerable. So you reject tenderness, even when you crave it. On the outside, you play the strong, independent warrior. Inside, your dove is starving. Freeing the dove is the path of the spiritual warrior, far more difficult than freeing the owl. Because here you must walk straight into your pain. You must trust again, knowing you might be hurt again. This is courage in its purest form. Start small. Let someone help you with something trivial. Let someone compliment you without deflecting. Let someone be kind to you without questioning motives. Accept. Breathe. Say thank you. Do a full inventory of your old hurts. Write down the names of those who caused you pain. Next to each one, write, I forgive you. I release you. You don't owe them the words. You owe yourself the freedom. Begin speaking about your feelings, not thoughts, not theories, feelings, even if it's only in a journal. I feel lonely. I feel afraid. I feel hopeful. I feel angry. This is how the dove learns she is safe with you again. Jung said, depression is like a woman in black. If she appears, do not chase her away. Invite her in. Listen to what she wants to tell you. Your negative emotions, all that suppressed grief, are that woman in black. You've chased her away for years, so she settled in your basement. Invite her to tea. Ask her what she's trying to protect you from. You'll be surprised by her answer. She's not your enemy. She's your guardian, clumsy but loyal. Thank her. And then tell her you're ready to take over from here. Then open the cage. Tell your dove, go. I'm not afraid anymore. I choose love, even if it might hurt. Because a heart locked away is never safe. It is only silent. Ah, the parrot. If your hand reached for the cage with the brightest, loudest, most flamboyant creature, then listen carefully. Because this choice means that inside your inner cage is not just a bird, but an entire carnival. Your joy, your humor, your creativity, your self-expression, your spontaneity, your inner child, the wild, laughing, fearless version of you, all locked away. Why? Because someone, at some point in your life, convinced you that being colorful was inappropriate, that being loud was rude, that being joyful was childish, and that being yourself was somehow too much. Let's not sugarcoat it. You are a walking festival forced into the role of an accountant in a gray cubicle. Inside, you are fireworks. Outside, you wear a serious expression and a socially acceptable mask. You fear being seen. You fear drawing attention, being noticed, being judged. You fear that if people ever met the real you, the vibrant, expressive, hilarious you, they would reject you. And that fear is so strong that you've chosen to become a dimmed, diluted version of your true nature. This choice reveals a brutal inner conflict between who you are and who you were told to be. Carl Jung called this conflict the persona, the social mask you put on to be accepted. Persona is what we would like to be and what we want others to think we are, he wrote. Your mask is made of politeness, restraint, and predictability, but behind it is a riot of color. Your parrot has been locked up for so long that it has begun to forget its own voice. Its wings are stiff, its feathers are fading, but it's still watching you, with disappointment. Where did this fear begin? We both know the answer. Childhood. Don't draw so much attention. Stop acting silly. Grow up. Act normal. What will people think? This is the anthem of an entire generation raised to be obedient, quiet, interchangeable pieces of society. Bright, creative children make systems uncomfortable, so the system trims their wings. Your creativity? Useless. Your jokes? Inappropriate. Your dreams? Unrealistic. Day after day, year after year, the message was simple. Hide who you are. So you did. How does this show up in your adult life? You live a life that bores you. You work a job that suffocates you because it's stable, respectable, sensible. You surround yourself with people who don't inspire you because they're safe. You dress the way you think you should, not the way your soul wants. You stifle your creative impulses. You silence your humor. You choose predictability over passion. You've become a grayscale version of a technicolor soul. And what terrifies you most? Judgment. You believe everyone is watching, evaluating, criticizing every move you make. But here's the truth. Most people are too absorbed in their own insecurities to even notice yours. The real judge is the inner critic you inherited, the cruel guard who stands watch in front of the parrot's cage. He whispers, "You're not good enough. You're embarrassing. It won't work. People will laugh. Don't stand out." Another sign of your suppressed self? Envy. You feel a sharp sting when you see bold, creative, expressive people. You may judge them as too much, attention seekers, ridiculous. But beneath the judgment is the truth. You envy their freedom, their courage, their refusal to hide. They let their parrots fly. Yours is starving in a cage. And that envy is the cry of your soul pleading, "Let me out, please." Freeing the parrot is an act of rebellion, a creative uprising. Start small, but start today. Buy something bright, silly, playful. Paint your nails a color you've always liked but never dared to wear. Dance in your living room when no one is watching. Sing in the shower like you're on a stage. Wear mismatched socks. Buy a ridiculous mug that makes you smile every morning. These tiny acts are guerrilla missions on the territory of joy. But don't stop there. Return to the things you loved as a child, before the world convinced you they were pointless. Drawing, singing, dancing, writing poems, building things, inventing stories. You don't need to be a professional artist. You need to be alive. Learn to say no. No to boring obligations. No to toxic people. No to anything that dims your colors. Every no to the gray world is a yes to your inner parrot. Every refusal breaks another bar in the cage. Yes, people may not understand you. Some may distance themselves. Let them. Those who leave were never your people to begin with. Those who stay, or who arrive later, will love you for the real you, not the edited version. Jung wrote about individuation, the journey of becoming your true self. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you really are. Freeing the parrot is exactly that journey, your chance to reclaim your life from dullness and conformity. Yes, it's risky. You might embarrass yourself. You might fail. You might be judged. But there is a far bigger risk. Growing old and realizing you never lived. That your entire life was a rehearsal. That the show never began. Life is not an exam. It is a festival, a dance, a chaotic, beautiful parade. Laugh louder, speak honestly, express boldly. Let your colors spill. And when your parrot finally spreads its rainbow wings and screams its cry of freedom, let the gray world cover its ears. This is not their celebration. It's yours, and it is just beginning. So, you chose the eagle. Not the gentle dove, not the wise owl, not the joyful parrot, but the creature that does not hop from branch to branch, does not chirp for attention, does not fear the sky. The eagle rules the sky. And your choice says something monumental. Inside your deepest, most heavily guarded cage lives your inner emperor, your strategist, your leader, your power, your ambition, your potential on a colossal scale. And you fear this part of yourself more than any other. Let's speak without filters. You were born for greatness, not necessarily to run a nation or a corporation, but to rule your own life, to shape your own destiny, to set big goals and achieve them, to lead, to influence, to change reality instead of adapting to it. But instead, you shrink, you downplay, you apologize for your strength. You settle for less than you're capable of. You avoid responsibility like it's a forest fire. You sit in roles far below your capacity. You aim for goals far beneath your level. You pretend your dreams are too much, too unrealistic, too dramatic. Instead of building empires, you play in the sandbox. Why? Because power terrifies you. Not the power of others, your own. You sense what you're capable of, and it scares you. You feel that if you ever opened that cage, if you truly unleashed your drive, willpower, ambition, it would change everything. Your life, your identity, your relationships, your future. And change for you is more frightening than failure. You fear responsibility. Power doesn't just bring privilege, it demands accountability. When you're a follower, a helper, the second in command, you have an escape hatch. If something goes wrong, it's not my fault. But the eagle doesn't get that safety. The eagle decides. The eagle chooses the direction. The eagle bears the consequences. And that weight feels enormous to you. You fear your own strength. You worry that if you ever embrace it, you'll become selfish, domineering, dangerous. Maybe you grew up around people who abused power, a strict parent, a controlling boss, a manipulative partner, and you swore to yourself, I will never be like them. But that vow became a curse. In running from the tyrant, you locked up the leader. You confused ambition with cruelty, strength with arrogance, leadership with domination. But those are distortions, shadows of power, not power itself. How does the caged eagle show up in your life? 1. Self-sabotage. Just when success is one step away, you make a mistake. You miss the meeting. You lose motivation. You offend someone. You procrastinate. You derail yourself because success would force you to rise to a new level, a level where you can no longer hide. 2. Indecision. You hesitate endlessly. You delegate decisions. You wait for signs. You let life choose for you. The eagle sees the whole landscape from above and decides instantly. But you sit on the ground, studying every pebble, hoping someone else will take responsibility. 3. Fear of success. Yes, fear of success, not failure. You worry that if you win, you'll lose your friends, threaten people, stand out, be judged, be envied, be alone. You were taught, at home, at school, in society, that strong people are suspicious, unlikable, dangerous. Mediocrity is safe. Excellence is risky. So you clip your own wings before anyone else can. Carl Jung wrote about the shadow, the part of ourselves we reject and suppress. Shadow, he said, is the thing a person has no wish to be. Your shadow is not weakness. It's your strength, your ambition, your drive, your hunger for impact, your desire for authority, control, influence. You buried all of it out of shame. But the eagle in the cage isn't evil. He is the part of you that wins battles, builds futures, moves mountains. Your job is not to kill him. It is to tame him, to integrate him, to ride on his back instead of locking him away. Freeing the eagle is the boldest act of your life. It is declaring war on your own mediocrity. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop shrinking so others feel comfortable. Stop pretending you're satisfied when you're starving for more life, more success, more meaning. You have the right to be powerful, to rise, to achieve, to lead, to create your own destiny. This is not arrogance, it is responsibility. The world does not need more quiet, obedient, nice people who never use their gifts. The world needs leaders, visionaries, architects of the future. The world needs your eagle. Start small. Take responsibility for one area of your life and own it completely. Make one decisive choice and follow through no matter what. Stop asking for permission. Speak your mind. Set one ambitious goal, something that scares you, and pursue it. Every completed action strengthens your eagle. Every victory gives him back his sky. Look at your circle. Stop surrounding yourself with chickens, complainers, doubters, jealous people, small thinkers. Eagles fly with eagles. Seek mentors bigger, stronger, more successful than you. Your environment can either build your wings or break them. Most important, understand that real power is not domination. Real power is inspiration. A true leader raises others. A true leader lifts the world. A true leader is a lighthouse, not a hammer. Your eagle was never meant to destroy. He was meant to rise and take others with him. As Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Stop being the result of your fears. Become the cause of your future. Open the cage. Your sky is waiting. Your throne is waiting. Your eagle is ready. It's time. So now we arrive at the end. You've met the owl. You've met the dove. You've met the parrot. You've met the eagle. Mind, heart, joy, power. And here comes the truth that most people never dare to face. It was never about choosing one. All four of these birds live inside you. Each one represents a vital part of your psyche, a piece of your wholeness. And while this test gave you insight into the bird you've locked away the most, the real journey doesn't end with freeing just one. The real journey is to dismantle the entire inner aviary. The cages, the locks, the guards, the walls, every limitation you built to survive the past. Because the goal is not to be wise without love, or loving without expression, or expressive without strength. The goal is integration. To become a person whose mind is illuminated by the owl's insight, whose heart is open like the dove, whose joy bursts forth like the parrot, and whose willpower is as unstoppable as the eagle. That is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole, of becoming fully yourself, of reclaiming every part you've abandoned, rejected, or feared. It is not a comfortable path. It is not an easy path. Sometimes it feels like tearing down the walls of a prison you lived in for years. Sometimes it feels like meeting strangers who turn out to be parts of you. But it is the only path worth walking. Because the alternative, living half awake, half alive, half yourself, is a slow internal death. This test is not magic. It doesn't predict your future. It doesn't control your fate. It is simply a mirror held up to your subconscious, showing you the truth you've been avoiding, the truth you already knew, the truth you were finally ready to face. What you do with that truth is your choice. You can turn away, pretend nothing happened, cover the mirror, and go back to the familiar prison. Or you can look at your reflection, your owl, your dove, your parrot, your eagle, and say, "It's time." Because unlocking your potential is not an accident. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's daily work, daily choices, daily courage. It's choosing honesty over comfort, love over fear, authenticity over approval, growth over stagnation, freedom over safety. We don't make these videos to entertain. We make them because we believe something sacred. Your archetype is the key to an extraordinary life. We spend hundreds of hours studying, writing, refining for people like you who are ready to look deeper, to feel deeper, to live deeper. If this message touched you, shook you, or opened something inside you, the best way to support our work is with the simplest currency: your engagement. Leave a like, subscribe, and most importantly, share your story. Tell us in the comments, which bird did you choose, and which part of this journey resonated with you the most? Your stories are the fuel that keeps this project alive. And remember this: the key to every cage you saw today has always been in your pocket. Always.